All right, Busy Beavers 3. This time we're going to be talking about physical fitness. So it's all about physical fitness today, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So a lot of my stuff that I'm going to be talking about, I got from two books. One of them was Younger Next Year by Chris Crowley and Henry Lodge, MD. And the other one was by Outlive by Peter Attia. And then there's a bunch of stuff that I got from watching videos and other books. But these two guys are huge influencers for me. The Younger Next Year was written, I think, published in 2001. And 99% of it still holds water. And you can't say that about a lot of fitness programs and people and things like that. So this guy was on the cutting edge and was really great. And then the Outlive is just all science-based fact. And this guy's an excellent storyteller. So highly recommend both of those books if you want to. Also, of course, well, we're not talking about sleep, so I won't talk about the sleep book. But anyway, today is all about exercise. So getting started. So the first thing, I'm going to give 10 things, and then I'm going to explain a couple in depth on what workouts really do. So the first thing is you got to commit to exercise 6 days a week. So when I say that, people go, oh my gosh, 6 days a week, are you crazy? I don't have that time. Well, here's the thing. First of all, I didn't say you had to like sweat buckets of sweat, you know. Just working out can be anything from 15 to 45 minutes of just a brisk walk, right? So cardio is the #1 way to work out. We're creatures that were built to outwalk the gazelle and whatever we were hunting. Everything else pants, we sweat. So we are the apex predators because we can outwalk a lion. We can keep scaring it until it's just too tired to go because it can't pant anymore to cool off. So walking is a great exercise. Level 2, there's 5 levels of cardio. One is you're walking and you're talking and you don't even have to think about breathing because you're just this nice, slow, regular walk. 2, you're doing a little bit of a brisk walk, and so yeah, you're talking with your friend, but you know, it's a little bit, I know I'm breathing here. 3 is maybe you're at the apex of, you know, we're talking, but now I've really got to concentrate on talking and breathing at the same time. And then 4 or 5 are you've gone way overboard and you're going crazy. And then the cool thing is 4 and 5, when you push your body to its limit, really only need to do that once or twice a year. And that's with the doctor's approval. So you don't even, so thinking about it, you really don't even need to push yourself that hard to be in great shape. Now, talking about great shape, if you're out of shape and you start doing this, you know, just walking 15 minutes a day, you will actually get more benefit than an Olympian who ups their workout 15 more minutes a day, let's say, because you're getting in shape. People that are already in shape, they have to push themselves even to a more extreme, like they'll be going towards level 3 and level 4, maybe a little bit more because they're usually trying to compete for like a marathon or triathlon or whatever. So just walking is great. And you really can do that just 3 or 4 times a week or more. Like you can do it 6 times a week. But the other second thing is strength training. As we get older, we lose muscle mass. And it's just the facts. You can't get away from it no matter how much you work out. The person that won the weightlifting championship at 35, at 65, if he's still working out just as hard, cannot lift the same amount of weight. It's just not possible. So you're still strong, but you got to prioritize that. Now, lifting weights, that doesn't mean hard, heavy thing. It's just weight bearing. So that especially for your legs, when you do weight bearing stuff, it just keeps the bone structure and the muscles strengthened. So, you know, just prioritizing weightlifting twice a week, just twice a week, 3 times if you want it, if you really like it. But just twice a week, free weights, body weight, stuff like that, it's just going to help you. And it just makes you stronger. And the funny thing is they can tell about grip strength. The opening jars, believe it or not, is one of the ways they can tell longevity. I don't know what that has to do. Maybe you just don't open the lid and you can't eat anymore. I don't know. I got a can opener, but you know what I'm saying. So anyway, so working out 2 to 3 times a week. Number 3, it says to incorporate cardio 3 to 4 times per week. Zone 2, I've already talked about that. So the intensity of your cardio is just zone 2. And just like I said, brisk walks, cycling or rowing. Actually, when the pool is closed, I go to the rowing machines. The cycling doesn't do it for me. I don't know why I like the rowing machines. It hits everything as you're doing it. It just pretty much hits just about everything. cycling is just boring. I'm on my recumbent bike going nowhere, and it's just like walking and running. I don't get it, but hey, a lot of people do. So it's whatever floats your boat. Another thing you can do when you're doing aerobic type exercises is the high intensity interval training. Now, there's a lot of talk back and forth on whether it's good, and what that is basically is you do 30 seconds of, like, let's say sprinting, and then a 2-minute walking, and then you repeat that 6 8. So you go high and then you relax, and you go high and you relax, and you can just do that once a week just to change up your workouts, because that's the thing. You want your workouts to be something that excites you and isn't boring, and your body thinks the same way. Excuse me, the same way. So high intensity interval training, HIIT as they call it, is good. Research can go back and forth on research. Some people say it's really good, some people say it's okay, but everybody says it's worth doing. Better than not doing anything. So whether you're doing that or you're just walking or whatever, doesn't matter. Just another thing that you can do. Functional fitness is something. This is number 5. Functional fitness. So as we get older, one of the reasons that we die is we fall and we break something, and then we go in the hospital, and maybe we get pneumonia or something like that. And so functional strength, one of the functional, like when I go swimming after laps, there's a little stairs that I have to go up and go down. It's kind of like a little bridge over the lazy river. And one of the functional strengths that I do is I just basically walk slowly. I mean, it takes me like 2 seconds to get up there and then down, and then 2 seconds to pull myself up there. And what I'm doing is I'm practicing core strength. And core doesn't mean your abs. Core strength is the ability that if I trip or slip, I can stop real quick and catch my balance, right? So that's a core strength, to be able to catch your balance really quick. So and you can use like kettlebells, and other ways of talking about functional strength is like if you're on the machine, it's like narrow, right? You're just doing this one thing. But if you've got kettlebells, there might be some wobble, so it's a little bit, you're working your muscles a little bit more, so a little bit more functional strength. So deadlifts and things like that are really, really cool to get functional strength.
So
Go ahead.
is that like if you go to yoga and you are intentionally standing on one leg to hold yourself?
Yes, and when you're doing things like that, yoga, tai chi, qigong, things like, when you do things like that, you're actually working. So there's gross motor skills and there's fine motor skills. When you're moving quickly, running and stuff, you're using gross motor skills. But when you're moving slowly, not only are you using gross motor skills, but to keep your balance in things, you're using your finer motor skills. And that's actually more helpful for keeping your balance and things like that. So yeah, 100%, 100%. Much more functional strength there, because you're learning to keep your balance, and you're working muscles that generally aren't worked, right? So yeah, so like if you're lifting weights all the time, well, how does that help you walk? Doing the leg press, how does that help you walk? It doesn't, right? I mean, it does, you're stronger, but your balance is, and and here's the thing about balance. As we get older, we don't lose our coordination. People think they lose coordination as they get older. That's not true. We have the same exact coordination when we were 20 as we are when we're 80. The problem is we're slower reactionary time. And that's just part of life. So and I've noticed this, there's things that I could do when I was younger, but my reaction is just a microsecond slower than it was, probably less than that or more than that, but I can tell. It's like, no, I've got my balance, but and the thing is I used to do Tai Chi quite a bit a long time ago, and I've started doing again, and I can definitely tell that I have to get those balances back, right? It's not there, right? Because I didn't practice it, all this time. I've been doing, for the last 3 years, I've been doing water aerobics. Well, you're in the water, you don't have to worry about balance too much. So, but balancing that out, doing the strength, the stabilization exercises, the core exercises, that doing the Tai Chi, doing the water aerobics, it helps on all different levels. So yeah, good question. Flexibility and mobility work. So dedicate time to stretching, yoga, any type of thing like that. Daily, it improves your posture, your joints, your health. And here's the thing, and I get into this talk with people about stretching, because at the end of every aerobics class is let's stretch, and it's like 2 or 3 seconds. That's not really stretching. That's reminding your muscles that you can move that direction. But real stretching, you work that muscle about 15 to 20 minutes, right? You're stretching that muscle. You get into it. And you may do some breaks and stuff like that, but you're working a specific muscle. I like to do resistance stretches. So I resist this way and then I'll stretch, right? And so your muscles remember, they're tight. So if you can make them stretch and then you relax, then it reminds them that they can actually go that further. I can show, when I did my stretching classes, I could show people they would gain 3 inches of stretches, which is impossible, because when you're stretching, you're tearing muscles apart so they can grow back again. You can't tear 3 inches, but what happens is their muscle memory is saying, oh no, I can only go this far, and by tightening and then relaxing, all of a sudden the muscle's like, oh, I can go further than this. And I've done that countless times. It's kind of fun when people are like, holy cow. Like, no, that's just your real stretch. You just don't know it, because we get used to it, right? We get used to folding our arms a certain way. So when we fold it the other way, we feel uncomfortable, right? So it's the same thing. Oh, this one is a big one. So working out is important, don't get me wrong, but working out socially is more important. So, and this is one of the reasons this is just my opinion. I don't know where the research is to back this up, but this is one of the reasons why you women live longer than us. Most of your workouts are social. Even if you go for a walk, you're walking with your friends, and stuff like that. Like when we go to water aerobics, there's 3 of us guys there, and it's out of like 20 to 30 people there, and there's 3, sometimes 4. Right, and it used to be just 2, and we just got this new guy, so he's here once on Tuesdays. But it's a social thing. We're creatures of culture, and so and you watch these classes, and in every class, like we got 25 people there. There's going to be 2 to 5 people that are there at level 1 because they're just talking it up, right? Yeah, they're doing the exercises, but they're not doing them. They're just talking it up, but they're still getting benefit, right? And then there's people like me that are trying to go crazy, and then there's people in the middle, that are talking a little bit, but then they're working out, and they're at level 2 a little bit here, and sometimes we all get up to level 3. But the social interaction is huge. It's just I can't overemphasize. We're creatures. 20,000 years ago, there was no such thing as a sole survivor in a forest. You were dead. That's why if you were ostracized, you were dead. The animals would get you. You couldn't do it. So that's why we started forming cultures and stuff. We banded together to protect ourselves. So it's really a great thing. Number 8 is to it sounds crazy, but track your progress. We used to use the watch. My wife still uses the watch, and now the ring. But the ring, this Aura ring, it tells me when I'm working out too much. It's like, I'm like, it says you should relax today, and take it easy. You worked out too much yesterday. You need to recover, which is the funny thing. I don't think, actually the next one's coming to talk about recovery, but this tracks my sleep. It tracks my heart rate. It tracks, like if I'm mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, or just emotionally exhausted. It can tell the difference. It's kind of crazy. It does all kinds of things, and actually it tells me when I'm being a slacker, like I have been for the last couple of weeks. It's like, your trend is going down. I'm like, I don't like that, right? It's like telling me I should work out more now. It's like, so like today, usually in a class, I'll burn about 250 to 350 calories. Today, on Tuesdays and Thursdays I swim, and then I do the water aerobics. But so today was like 550, something like 554 or something like that. And I know tomorrow it'll say, hey, great job getting back, but make sure you relax, But recovery, which is what the next number 9 is actually probably the most important thing. And I always use the example of Olympic athletes. So an Olympic coach, their problem isn't getting the athletes to work out. These guys and girls are just, they're driven. I mean, that's all they want to do is work out. But when they get into the race or whatever their event is, it's not the person that is the strongest or that's worked out the hardest that wins the race. It's the one that has the most in the gas tank. So rest and recovery is, and I can't remember the guy's name, but there was this one particular marathoner that would win. He won lots and lots of races in the Olympics, and he'd like an hour or two before the race, he'd take a nap, and so you can't, he had the most in the gas tank, right? So, and then the last one is just adaptability and be consistent. It's great, that I worked out today and I burned 554 or whatever it was calories, but consistently. If I do that once a year, so, right? So the thing is you look at, it's just consistency. And when I say consistency, like, okay, my wife and I work out 6 days a week. Does that mean you should? No. I mean, when we first started, she could barely keep up with what I call a level 1 aerobics class. I mean, the aerobic instructor she was like just sitting there, okay, now you need to do this. And then she'd wait 30 seconds. Now you need to do this. It was like no motivation, right? And I always tell instructors, you're not an instructor. You're a motivational speaker. You got to motivate people. That's why we like the Tuesday, Thursday class, because this lady is just like, in your face, right? And we like that. Some people don't, but we do. So being consistent, just start, but start, if you're not doing anything, twice a week is great, because guess what? It's better than once a week, and it's definitely better than no times a week. And also, the problem is when you jump into something, and this has happened to me in my lifetime, you start to do something different, your body's not used to it. You're going to pull a muscle or slip, and who knows, right? So you want to, especially if you're lifting weights or you're running and things like that, you just you got to warm up. I mean, and you got to learn the tricks of the trade. So don't the question, I guess, it's like brushing your teeth. If you've never brushed your teeth and you start brushing your teeth, tell me, what is the exact date that you have now healthy and teeth and gums? You can't, right? And then you stop, you don't brush your teeth for a day. Does that destroy it? No. But if you don't brush your teeth for a month, you could, first of all, my wife will not let me go to sleep with her anymore, and I won't get any kisses, but you can see what I'm saying, right? So, but consistently, you're doing this consistently, and you get better and better, and then you start, you're supposed to floss. I used to have a friend that was a dentist, and he said, Stephen, just floss the teeth you want to keep. I mean, don't worry about it, all the others. And so, it's the same thing. So you just work out a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you build up, and then all of a sudden, we went from 2 times a week to 3 times a week to 4 times a week to 6 times a week. But that's over 2 years, right? So, it's crazy. So the other thing that I want to talk about is L6 and L10. I think it's L6 and L10. And so when you're hitting the aerobic workout phase, the white blood cells, the people think that the white blood cells are there to stop cancer and to heal you and things like that, and they are. But really what they also do is they find bad things in your body. Now, I'm saying the same thing, but here's the thing. Your arteries, you have bad cells in your arteries. And so if you do aerobic workout to, let's say, level 2, then the body will say, hey, you're working out. We need to get rid of the bad stuff. And so what happens is it'll go in and it'll look at your arteries and other parts of your body, but we're just going to talk about the arteries because there is such a thing as a heart attack, but most people don't have them. They have artery failures. That's why they have to put the stent in. It had nothing to do with the heart. It was the artery was clogged up. And so if you work out to such a level, let's just say level 2, the white blood cells say, hey, let's get rid of these bad artery cells, right? They start picking it up. If you get to level 10, which is, let's just say level 3, then the body says, oh, you're serious about this working out thing? We need to build those arteries. Let's give them some good arteries and stronger arteries. And so and this works with muscles and things too. So working out, we're talking aerobic conditioning. When you're doing this, the L6 and the L10 are critical for getting the waste out of your body and building your body with new and stronger muscles and fibers and things like that. So that's one of that's a non-disputed fact by all of the smarter people than me out there. So that's pretty much it. What do you think?
I'm really glad I joined. I think it's good. It taught me a lot, but I made a commitment to myself to walk every day when it's not brutally cold out, because swimming is not something I get to do. And so unfortunately, it's 21 degrees today, and I'm sorry, I'm not going out.
Do you live in a two-story?
What?
Do you live in a two-story?
No.
Oh, okay. I was about to say you can walk the stairs.
Well, at home I do that. Here I do actually have a basement, but the basement has no heat, so no, I'm not doing that. So anyway, but what I do, even if I can't go out and really walk, I always park as far from any place I can. And so I add steps wherever I have the opportunity to add steps. So I'm not going to go out and walk for 15 minutes, but that shopping lot.
But those little things, like when I wrote the book, You Are What You Habit, back in '93, I think. And this is the last original copy of it, but it's got stuff in here like how many calories you burn for doing housework, right?
I know that well because I clean our houses before we sell them. And when I clean a house, yeah, nobody would work for me because I'm just obnoxious.
You're military clean.
Yeah, that's what I like. So I do that when I'm in Pittsburgh, usually at least once, if not twice a week. And that's usually each house. So it's a lot. But anyway, the other thing I've been doing, because my sister-in-law suggested it, I'm not doing yoga. It's not like I have time, nor do I go to a place, but she said, you really need to start practicing your core stability. And it's very simple. You learn to stand on one foot for 20 seconds and then you grow. So what I found is my left leg, which I know is better, no problem. I could go for more than 30 seconds, but my right leg is going to take me a longer time to even learn how to stay on it for 5 seconds, forget 20.
Yep.
But it's got me practicing it every day. So, when you said that, I'm like, yeah, this work for that. So yeah, I am never going to be what I should be. Not never, but that's not my goal this year, I promise you. But all these little changes that I'm making, walking, and I live by the shore. So when it's nice, I really like to walk on the boardwalk. I don't like the beach, but walking the boardwalk is fun. And I don't lift weights, but I do have a bike that I'm going to be taking out and doing my hour listening to a book. By the way, I'm listening to a book right now, The Power of Habit by Duig.
Okay.
And it talks about how if you change your habits one at a time, doesn't have to be hard, it actually changes your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Different brain. And I'm like, oh, well, this is pretty cool because I started doing a couple of things just for the last, 2 weeks? No, actually, I started in December, so maybe 6 weeks. And I've noticed a change in some of my other habits. So,
yep. The book, Younger Next Year, you don't have to read it, but think about what he said. Not younger next month, not younger, in 2 weeks, younger next year. So you look at it and you just say, okay, I'm going to be younger next year. I'm going to be in better shape next year. But you don't wait till the 25th.
Right, you do it now.
Yeah, you got to do it now, right? But totally.
I was on a call this morning for one of my groups, and they said, you're the oldest one on here. I said, yeah, and I'm going to live longer than all of you. I made a decision. So I'm eating healthier. I'm not eating any bread Monday through Friday. I'm not giving it up because if I say I'm giving it up, that's a lost cause. Um,
It's a win.
I am almost so I last week I had no pasta. I am going to have pasta tonight with dinner, but not a lot. But no bread, and that's it for pasta. Like I'm staying away from any wheats. Um, and I feel better when I do it. And I
Yeah,
have
amazing.
edema, so my ankles can grow to the size of my hips. I mean, they get huge, and it's not water buildup. It's my lymph nodes don't work, and there's not a whole lot you can do for that. Except I could do a massage like every other day, but no, that's not going to happen. So anyway, but by just cutting the bread, I've noticed a change. So good
Yeah,
for
when
me.
it was, I guess, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe seven now. Um, in 1 year, well, in about a year and a half, 2 years, I had my neck operated on twice because they were cleaning out between 5 and 6 and 6 and 7. So it was laser surgery. So 2 months and I was back at 100%. But then I would just yeah, it was about 7 years ago. I've done front leg. Bruce Lee says that I don't fear the man that knows 10,000 kicks. I fear the man that throws a kick 10,000 times. My front leg front kick, I literally have thrown it 10,000 times. And I wasn't even in uniform. I was just messing with this kid. And my foot, I threw a front leg front kick and it got caught in his t-shirt and he pulled me out. And when I put my foot down, it wobbled. And I didn't know it at the time, but my ACL was torn. And so I babied it, and then 2 weeks later, I was doing some mitt work, and I stepped back. I was favoring it, so I didn't step. I didn't use it as support foot, but I stepped back, and I just fell. And the doctor said, "Yeah, we got to fix it." But that's 9 months. I mean, you don't get a choice. That's 9 months of rehab.
I had that surgery.
Yeah, and
And
so yeah, go ahead.
yep, I
Yeah,
know.
and but so a year and a half basically, I didn't do anything, and I was still eating. Back then, it was I would go to Dairy Queen once a week at least. Chocolate covered cherry blizzard with 2 scoops of M&Ms and extra cherry sauce.
Oh no, I just like ice cream.
That's
That's
okay.
all.
I'll eat twice as much for you. But but because I wasn't working out, my doctor, I went in for my 1 year, and she says, "You're pre-diabetic," and I'm like, "What? No, you know what I do for a living. I can't be." And she goes, "I know what's happened in the last year," and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And so all I did was I cut out the bread, the pastas, and the rice, and and then worked out twice a week more. And in 9 months, I beat it. So it doesn't take a lot, right? And we still eat pasta, and like during Christmas time and Thanksgiving especially, I'm gonna have my turkey sandwiches, and my ham sandwiches. I'm gonna do that, and I've paid for it. I've gained another 10 pounds this Christmas, but I'm gonna lose it, okay? But life's about enjoyment, and I'm gonna do that, and we go to Dairy Queen every once in a while now, but it's not, but uh, but here's the thing. I was the glucose goddess. I watched a podcast on her, and so if you eat your vegetables first, it coats and fruits and stuff and vegetables first. It coats your stomach, and then you eat your food, and then if you eat ice cream or candy or sweets after that, it basically protects you more. You don't have a glucose jump as much. It's a lot less. So it's kind of a way she cheats. She says, "I'm not a food Nazi. I still eat this. I do that, but this decreases your glucose spikes, which is what's really bad for you." So anyway, there's a cheat there for everybody, and a plug for her. Maybe we'll have her on someday. I don't know, but yeah, but and we talked. I think we're going to talk about nutrition next time. But and I'll just say this about nutrition: everybody's a nutrition Nazi. It's my way or the highway, right? It's like No,
No one but we're
there's
prepared.
reasons for every one of them that can be good and bad. Okay, so but we'll go over all that stuff on when we'll get into that. But but there's some, YouTube is a great place to go if you want to get. I mean, and the get information. They're smart people out there.
Yep, yep. Well, thanks a lot, Steve. Just an FYI, if these meetings are every other Thursday, I am usually on a have once meeting for real estate,
Okay.
but I chose not to go today because I wanted to be here.
I appreciate that. I'm saving all of them, and the Busy Beaver project that I have, I'm actually going to start it with this, and I'm also going to do a Busy Beaver podcast where we can have guests on, not just for nutrition, but for business, for real estate, whatever, right? And and then hopefully that goes into my bigger project of getting a you know, you know,
Yep, yep, yep.
so, but yeah, no, I appreciate it. And you know what? I'm not expecting everybody to come in on every time, but we're having fun, and
I
I'm
think
saving all of them,
very
and I'm
good.
also using a program called Opus to cut it down. So like the last one, it's like in like 2 to 5 minute segments. So, and it's a smart program. It says, oh, you're talking about this, and so people don't have to watch the whole thing. They can just pick and choose. So,
Yep, yep.
and we'll have that shortly. I'll have a website with all of that kind of stuff.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I'll see you next Friday.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks. We'll talk
Bye-bye.
about it later.